Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your interest and your availability. Thank you, Dalvir, for your wonderful introduction to this wonderful community. It's an amazing place to talk about middle-class communities. This is a perfect example of a vibrant, diverse, strong middle-class community which can be proud of all the contribution that it's making to Canada in this part of our country. Now, I would also like, of course, to signal the presence of my two wonderful colleagues, Deb and Majid, and you know really well, Deb and Majid, not only the opportunities but also the challenges that middle-class families in this area of Canada are facing every day. And talking about middle class, growing the middle class to grow the economy has been our mandate since 2015. And you know what? The plan is working. Since 2015, Canadians have created over 1 million new jobs. We have the lowest unemployment rate since 1976. In Richmond Hill, a typical middle-class family now has $2,000 more in their pockets in 2019 than in 2015, and we have the lowest level of poverty, and most importantly, the lowest level of child poverty ever recorded in Canada. Now, in Richmond Hill alone, the Canada Child Benefit, which is making a huge difference in the lives of middle-class families, is helping on the 20th of every month the families of 14,000 children with an average payment of almost $600 per month, non-taxable. This being said, there are very serious housing affordability challenges in Richmond Hill and in the surrounding area. And it's important to talk about those challenges and to address them. As I said, we have the pleasure, the privilege of being here in one of the most vibrant, diverse and strong places in Canada, but it's also one of the most expensive areas to live in this part, in our country. And when it's expensive for families to live in terms of housing, it's also difficult for seniors and children to live in decent, affordable and safe housing conditions. And that's why it's absolutely necessary to recognize the high and growing cost of housing for both home buyers and renters, and to address them, as we have done since 2015. Every budget since 2015, starting from budget 2016, has included significant housing investments and housing measures. From day one, we have therefore acted, and I just released yesterday a report on the housing achievements we've made since 2015, reporting that 1 million families, over 1 million families in Canada since 2015 have received help in order to live safely and affordably in Canada, a total of more than $13 billion invested since 2015. And as Majid said just a moment ago, that also led to the launch of the first ever national housing strategy in November 17, a $55 billion investment, a historic investment over 10 years, which is also very important. We want the federal government not only to be back since 2015, but to be back for good and helping hundreds of thousands of middle-class families over the years to come in finding an affordable place to stay. And may I just add, by the way, that one of the great achievements of the National Housing Strategy since 2017 has been the launch of the Rental Construction Financing Initiative, an initiative that is helping to provide more affordable rental homes closer to public transit, closer to services, making the lives of families and communities better. And today, I'm here to speak about the next innovative program announced in Budget 2019, the First-Time Home Buyer Incentive. I am pleased to announce that starting next week, this program will make it more affordable for young Canadians to buy their first-time home. It will do so by reducing their mortgage payments without increasing their down payment. That will keep their monthly costs down so that they have more money for everyday expenses. Et aujourd'hui, je suis enchanté de vous parler du prochain programme novateur dans le cadre de la Stratégie nationale du logement, un programme qui a été annoncé dans le budget 2019 qui s'appelle l'incitatif à l'achat d'une première propriété. Je suis heureux d'annoncer qu'à compter de la semaine prochaine, lundi le 2 septembre, grâce à ce programme, il sera plus abordable pour les jeunes Canadiens d'acheter leur première maison. L'incitatif réduira leur versement hypothécaire sans faire augmenter la mise de fonds requise de leur part. Les coûts mensuels seront moins élevés, l'hypothèque sera moins risquée, ce qui leur laissera plus d'argent dans leur poche pour les dépenses de tous les jours. Now let me explain to you briefly how it's going to work. This is an incentive focused on middle-class families, and in particular on younger middle-class families that would otherwise find it very difficult to achieve their dream of a first-time home. It's focused on families of an income of up to $120,000. 4 times the income can be used to secure a mortgage. The program, the incentive, covers 5% of the cost of buying a first-time home for existing homes and up to 10% for new homes. And that creates an incentive for developers like this developer to provide more affordable first-time homes for people and Canadians that are looking for these first-time homes. The Canadians, the families, the middle-class families that will take advantage of this program will be able to pay back their incentive at any time they choose without any penalty or when they sell their home. No penalty and no interest paid on the incentive provided by the Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation. Let's take an example of a middle-class family, a couple or a single person wanting to buy a $500,000 home in this community. That family, that individual will be able to reduce its mortgage cost by up to almost $300 per month, $300 per month less in mortgage costs, which means a greater ability for that family to invest in a first-time home and more money to pay for other expenses once the home is purchased. We expect 100,000 families across Canada to benefit from this incentive, and we expect many of those families to be found in places, in middle-class places like this one. So this is about building better lives, building better homes, and building better communities, and that's exactly what Metroview Development does every day. You see the buildings being constructed behind me. This is a perfect example of investments in middle-class communities, in middle-class families. It's a perfect example of the type of places where this incentive will make a big difference. We make a big difference in making more affordable housing investments and leading to a more hopeful and more prosperous future for those families and everyone around them. Thank you very much for your warm welcome, and have a great day.